how to find your perfect job and grow your career, startup or corporate. With so many people out there looking for jobs, it can feel overwhelming. You may even feel like you need to take any job or the next job because of the market, and I get that. Do what you gotta do. But it doesn't mean that you have to stay there. It's always easier to find a job when you already have one. If you're desperate for a job, interviewers can feel it. If you don't need the job but really want it, that energy is way more positive and exciting. In this video, we're gonna talk about how to find your next perfect fit. Not just another job, but one that aligns with your values, passions, and supports the life you want to create. Because that's what we do around here on this channel. I help you create the life you've always wanted. So let's go. Hey guys, Rico here. Today, I'm gonna help you find your ideal company. Who knows? It may even be starting your own company. So whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro, this process can be challenging, especially if you want to make sure you're aligned with a company that truly fits your values, lifestyles, and goals. Comment down below if you know what your values are and what it is you look for in a company. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, first thing to consider, the company stage. That's the stage of every company, and different stages come with their own sets of experiences and expectations. So here is a quick rundown. The first stage, early or pre-seed. These are your fresh startups. They're usually smaller teams, high risk, but also offer lots of opportunity for personal growth and creative input. If you want to make a big impact quickly and don't mind a bit of instability and ambiguity, this could be your scene. You may have to take less in terms of salary, but you'll likely get much more in equity. If you pick the right startup, this can change your life financially. Definitely risk versus reward at these companies. Resourcing at these size businesses are often scarce, and this is definitely the most bootstrap stage. Second is the growing startups, or what you can call scale-ups. As these companies scale, they tend to have more established processes and a clearer vision. There's more structure and often more resources to support you. But with growth comes growing pains. So if you're up for navigating rapid changes and still want a taste of startup life, these companies might be a really good fit. You'll still mainly have a lot of generalists at this stage, but you'll also have the opportunity to learn about new technology, processes, policies, and more because there might not be anyone in-house to do it. So you can step in and learn. This was my exact experience at Zappos, and I was so grateful to not only learn what I did, but also to have equity at such an early stage of a business. Okay, 3, established companies. These companies are medium to large, and they tend to offer more stability and resources. There's usually a more defined career path here, usually more robust benefits like childcare and personal development, but also their PTO and healthcare plans are often more well-rounded than earlier stages. But remember, the trade-off here might be slower decision-making and more layers of management. With more people and bigger teams, the process just becomes longer. You'll likely see many more specialists being added to the organization, which means more people involved in accomplishing goals and finishing projects. This can be looked at as a pro for some because the pace isn't as insane as earlier stage startups, and work-life balance tends to be more of a priority in these bigger companies. You don't really get that luxury in earlier stages where it's typically so much work with very few bodies. That's why smaller stages offer so much more room for growth and career expansion. I like to say this is where Netflix was when I joined. It was publicly traded, but there was nowhere near the streaming giant it is today. We were still primarily DVDs, and the Quickster debacle had just happened, and it was still super fresh. Okay, 4th is publicly traded companies. These are the major players. Stability, robust resources, often great benefits, those are the norm here. But if you're someone who likes autonomy and flexibility, a larger company might feel more restrictive. This is where you can feel like a cog in the machine. This is where you may not only find specialists, but entire organizations or teams built to handle specific and discrete activities. Again, you may feel more balance in these companies. You may have a level of job security as well. There are layoffs at every stage. Every part of these companies have layoffs, but resources at these bigger companies are usually more robust, and layoffs might be because of overhiring versus the slow of business or lack of runway. Think Apple, Ford, Disney when you think of these companies. With all of these stages, it comes down to a few things and where you see yourself thriving. Are you comfortable with ambiguity or do you want stability? Do you like fast-paced growth or do you like things to be slow and steady? Are you a risk taker or you are risk averse? These are the things you are really considering when you're going through the different stages of a business. Okay, now let's talk industry. What field excites you? Think about where your passions lie and where you'd enjoy being around day to day. So for instance, if you love technology and constant innovation, perhaps you look at the tech sector or the different SaaS companies that are out there. If sustainability is your passion, then focus on companies with green initiatives or the renewable energy industry. It's also a good idea to look at stability and growth trajectory of these industries. Some sectors are more future-proof than others, especially when it comes to longevity and runway. Speaking of, that's our next area, is resources and runway. This is another critical factor. Some companies are well capitalized and can weather economic downturns, while others might be a little bit more vulnerable. Look into their financial health. How long is their runway? Do they have investors backing them? Have they been around a while? Are they self-sustaining? Are they in the green, the black, the red? The reality is, joining a company with a shaky runway might mean more risk for you, especially in a tough job market. So it's worth doing some research here to avoid ending up in a place that can't support its team long term. If you can't do the research, ask in the interview, what is the runway for this business? Okay, next, going into benefits. What matters to you in terms of benefits and work-life balance? That's important to think about. These things are like PTO, health benefits, flexibility, remote options. These things can impact your quality of life tremendously. Some companies prioritize employee wellness, while others may not have as much flexibility. And remember, there's nothing wrong with setting your own standards here. Know your non-negotiables and keep those at the top of your list. Something I always looked for was a strong PTO policy. If they had unlimited PTO, that means they were typically less restrictive and there was less process around taking time off. I have kids, we take trips, I value the ability to recharge. If a company says they only have 2 weeks of PTO per year, my experience has been that it's harder to take time off, harder to get permission, and generally, that's not enough for me for a year. Not that I take months off, but I work hard, and because I work hard, I need to rest more often. My work style and lifestyle don't fit in a 2-week per year policy. Now I'm going to get into a quick exercise you can do. It's a concept that I like to call the spectrum of your ideal day, and it helps you get clear on what it is that you want. So think about your must-haves versus the areas you're willing to compromise. Are flexible hours a must? Do you need a certain level of creative freedom? Or maybe you're really focused on building a clear path with a company. Define what an ideal workday looks like for you, then map out the spectrum. This exercise will help you prioritize what matters the most and target your search. The clearer you are about what you want, the easier it will be to spot the companies that match your vision for the life and career you want. Okay, here's how it works. You take a piece of paper and you draw a circle or square in the middle. It says ideal. And then you have the spectrum. These are your must-haves. Write the things you want. As you think about your day, wants and needs, you start to put things on this spectrum, with the ends being the items you're willing to concede on. Maybe you're earlier in your career, so unlimited PTO isn't important, so you can put it on here, but learning new skills is more important, so you put it in the middle. And maybe you have a family, so finishing work at 5 p.m. is the deal breaker for you. For me, I work out in the morning and take my kids to school, so I'm never online before 9 a.m. These are the things that will help you create the life you want and build a career around that life. This ideal day exercise will also help you craft great questions for your interview. That's a whole other video, and you can check that one out after this one. I teach you how to get what you want by asking the right questions and asking for what you want. Okay, at the end of the day, finding your ideal company means knowing yourself, understanding your values, and being clear about your goals. Even in a tough market, I believe it's better to hold out for a role that feels right rather than jump into something that isn't aligned and could lead you to burnout or dissatisfaction. Do you want to go from one toxic environment to another? Is that going to help you? Plus, you got to drink from the fire hose all over again? So really, take your time with this. Make a list, do some soul searching, and when you find that company and role that ticks most of your boxes, you'll know you're ready to make the next move. As always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I hope this helps you create the life you've always wanted. Thank you for watching. Remember, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you next time.